Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome to episode 65 of Stock Talk with Josh. And
Nico Kritikos.
I know it's been maybe what, like a couple months since we
It's
did
been a
our
while.
last
Oh,
episode.
September.
Okay, so not too bad compared to what we
Compared to
usually
our
do.
previous break.
Might be like 6 months to maybe a year between episodes, but hey, we are back. We are back. But Nico, how you been?
I've been good, just selling beef tallow.
Oh yeah, how's the company been going?
It's going really good. We're now in about 50 locations,
Round of
and
applause.
we're just trying to really capitalize on the beef tallow market.
Yeah, stocks. How's stocks been going
The
for you?
stocks are good. I think I sold out at the top. I sold pretty much all my stocks like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I say you were telling me that you were selling most of them.
Yeah, I sold most of it, and it's the market's pretty much been flat. It's dipped a little bit since then, but I'm just not super confident for the next like couple months on the market. I really ain't. So
Yeah, me too. No, I haven't really been buying anything either. I've been kind of, saving my money, not even looking. So kind of about the same thing we both probably had with the market and everything like that. But yeah, the no past couple months has been a couple big news. I guess the main big news the past couple weeks was the government shutdown.
oh yeah,
I think that lasted what like
40 days I think it was.
or like 40, I think like 45, something like
Okay.
that, 40 some odd days. So it was kind of crazy. It did just end. But how were you thinking about the government shutdown? Were you like affected by it, or what were your
Mm,
thoughts on it?
well, the one thing that we've been thinking about at American Tallow is like when we had to deal with the FDA for like labels and stuff. That could be the only thing that interrupts our business is that delay there. If the FDA is not working, that
Mhm.
could cause problems for us. But other than that, we've talked before about how like there's certain government employees that they're not going to get paid during this period, but then once the government returns, then everybody gets paid back. So I don't know. It's mainly about the delays in these certain agencies, but
Yeah, like the main talking point, like most people were talking about, was the SNAP benefits, like the
the
food
SNAP benefits,
stamps.
but also the airport stuff.
That's the next thing I was gonna say. I think the
Yeah,
most important thing would be the air traffic controllers. Them working a whole month and not getting paid.
yeah,
So I think that's probably the biggest thing. And honestly, you can kind of see when the news more talks of them probably striking happening on. You can kind of
hmm
see Trump kind of came back, was like, oh, let's
yeah,
start talking about the government shutdown whatsoever. But yeah, I think the air traffic controllers, because no matter who you are, rich or poor, you got to go on the airplane,
yeah.
especially when the holidays coming up. You want to go.
There was a bunch of flights getting canceled.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
whole bunch of. I think it was like New Jersey. I think people completely just stopped coming to work at all.
yeah, and then like a week ago, but even here in Chicago, there was a bunch of flights canceled. I think that might have been because of the that was probably the day of the storm though. The day we had
Oh yeah.
all the snow, I think that was getting canceled then.
But if you think about it, it goes back into the thing that everyone says. We're one missed paycheck away from being poor
Yeah.
or in poverty. So
Well, since most people live paycheck to paycheck, one or two paychecks could be a big deal.
exactly. But yeah, I'm happy the government is back from being the shutdown. So
Hmm
another big news I think was that Amazon cutting jobs.
hmm
So when I first heard the news, I was like, man, a whole bunch of the works. But I see it kind of pulled back. It's more of the corporate jobs that got those cuts.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, corporate jobs, and I would think that usually Amazon hires more people for the holiday season for the
Yeah,
warehouses and stuff. So I think they'll probably do that. Amazon they're not the only company that was firing too. I know
Target,
they're. Oh,
Target,
really? Target?
Target has some
Okay, I know.
layoffs.
Yeah, there are other like executives or not executives, but other um, corporate roles or however you want to define it. Um, they were getting fired too. Now I think a lot of it goes back to because of automation and artificial intelligence.
That's what they say AI too.
Yeah.
And a
So
lot of time it kind of traces back to like them overhiring the past couple of years though too. So
that's true. That's true. But yeah, I think the one thing I heard on a podcast was like pretty much you need 60 for certain corporations you need 60% less employees now to get the same job done because of AI. So we'll see what happens. I think there's going to be new jobs coming out. I think it's going to be a tough transition here. I just saw another statistic that said like people out of college or age 18 to 29, like the unemployment is what
yeah,
10%
about
or
ten
something.
percent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was high compared to where it
about more
normally.
than double than the regular overall unemployment.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's weird. We're in a tough time. We're in a weird time right now. But I don't want to say this is just the end of time and we're not going to have any more jobs after this. usually for the past 200 years, when we have a certain technology or automation come out, the new jobs come out of that at some point. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.
So, in your opinion, how long do you think this transitional period of phase will take?
That's a great question. It's definitely going to be longer than a year or 2 years. I would say like 5 to 10 years, maybe.
Yeah, because I think this is the very start.
This is like the very start. Because I think truck drivers isn't truck driver. That's one of the most popular jobs,
Yeah,
right? At
that
least
is
for
what I'm.
guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so stuff like that. I think this is what the CEO of Nvidia said. We've been talking about this. Is the
yeah.
trades. The
Right.
trades looks like one of the only solid bets right now.
More lucrative.
That just seems like something you don't have to worry about in the future. Is if you go that path, that's a good career path. But as for so many other things, well, I mean, especially for office jobs and if you're in marketing and design or all these different things, that stuff can get automated. Um,
It is kind of funny how it was a huge push to get people in college.
yeah.
No problem with college. We both went to college, graduated, yada yada yada. But it's a huge
Oh, I have a
push.
problem with college.
But it was a huge push of putting people in college, make sure they get
College
degrees.
and computer jobs though.
Yes,
Things that are definitely getting automated, like coding or whatever.
getting those
Yeah.
office jobs is the main big thing. And blue collar work was kind of, you don't really need that. Now it's kind of like a flip. It's like the whole cycle. It's a whole new cycle got reversed. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I never thought like trades or blue collar jobs were like, you know, not in demand, but I feel like now they really are outpacing
I think when I was
typical
younger, I
jobs.
just didn't have like the knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't talked about, like compared to like how going to college was.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, I've always heard people say, oh, you can make a lot of money in the trades, and those are important jobs. You're always going to have demand. But I just was never interested. I always thought, okay, that's like a last resort. Like it sounds great because you're making lots of money and stuff, but I don't really want to be a plumber. I don't really want to be an electrician. There was just a lot of things I wasn't interested in. But anyways, the point is, NVIDIA CEO says that's going to be the next generation of millionaires is people
Yeah.
working in the trades, and you have a lot of jobs getting automated. I mean, self-driving. If we have self-driving cars, self-driving semi-trucks, I mean that takes out all the truck drivers for deliveries. Uber. I just watched a video on DoorDash recently. DoorDash, I think, is maybe not as susceptible to those threats because DoorDash is delivering food instead of just delivering. I don't know.
Honestly,
You
yeah,
can look
it
at
is kind of hard to have a robot walk inside, get your
Yeah,
food.
but actually, I just did a video on DoorDash. They just bought this company that has this little robot. It's kind of like the Domino's robot.
I was about to say the Domino's thing,
Yeah, it
huh?
looks like that, and it doesn't. It's a little robot like this. It goes to your house, and then the thing unfolds, and you can take your food out. So who knows? Maybe that will also replace DoorDash drivers, then replace Uber drivers, replace truck drivers. There's a lot of stuff. Now, I mean, we're also talking about millions of people. So I don't know. How long does that transition take for them to say, okay, we're going to start implementing these automation? Tesla's been talking about self-driving cars and the robotaxi since I invested in the company back in 2019. That's been over 6 years now that Elon Musk has been setting these certain goals and saying it's on the way, it's coming soon, and we're still not really there. It's getting better. I mean, even like Google's Waymo, they're making a lot of progress. They're growing pretty fast I think they're in California and Arizona and stuff. So there's progress being made, but another one I bought a couple of years ago was Tyson Foods. They said, "Oh, we're going to have self-driving semi-trucks now," right? That was a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
That's not happening. So
Yeah.
it's going to it'll probably take a decade before we're at the point where it's like, okay, the majority of these deliveries and stuff is being done automated. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. We will
But
see.
I think the next question is, what kind of jobs would it be though?
Exactly, and I was trying to research that the other day. Is what does this next besides trades? Obviously, trades is important and stuff. But what does the next generation of jobs look like? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, the only thing, obviously, there's going to be like that guy that said that one person can now do the job of 3 people if he works with AI. Like there's from that perspective, there's going to be plenty of jobs where you have somebody who knows how to work with AI really well, and they have those jobs. But again, what do those other 2 people do now? You know what I mean? And then it comes down to the idea of like, okay, if AI replaces, let's say, half the jobs out there, then is a UBI, is a universal basic income, or or like our stimulus checks, are those going to be a more regular thing that we get once a year or something? That's an option. I don't know if that's I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, I wouldn't say it's out of the question because look, we've already got them before. Trump's talking about giving them out again, so it's possible.
He said the 2,000 for
Yeah, I hope we get it.
stimulus, tariff stimulus or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope we get it, but I don't think it's out of the question. I mean, I think the way that would be set up is if Google, Amazon, Meta, and Nvidia, whoever else, the food companies, the car companies, if they say we're firing 50-60% of our employees because of AI and robots, well, the government could say, okay, we're going to take we're going to tax you on that, or you're going to pay us something. So that way we could pay out a UBI to all American citizens or people who don't have a job, something like that. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know what this next generation of jobs is going to look like. What do you think?
I mean, it got to be something like hands-on now. Like
What do you mean
hands-on work,
hands-on?
something
Oh, you
like
mean something not digital?
yeah, but you got to be somehow, be able to. I guess the main thing is, you got to know how to work AI. But
You
like,
gotta
how
know
do you work AI though?
right. You got to know how to work AI and
So are like technician jobs gonna be up?
yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
even when we talk about the trades and stuff,
But
you could,
even though like it is like a shortage for plumbers and electricians, but when let's say in 2 years it's not a shortage, then
yeah. But the trend the last 5 years has been there is a shortage.
yeah, still.
That
So
it's getting more and more rare. So, which is it's probably because just our generation doesn't want to do those jobs.
yeah,
That's probably what it is. So now if those jobs are left and these other jobs get automated, people our age or the upcoming generation, they might be more so inclined to take
hit
those
those
trade
trades.
jobs. Now, if you want to be really extreme with this case, you could ask, why wouldn't AI and robotics, why wouldn't the automation technology be able to even do stuff like the trades? A company like Intuitive Surgical, the robots that perform surgeries on people, they've been around for over a decade. Why can't who's not to say that robots and stuff won't be able to
Oh, get so advanced.
to be able to perform trade jobs? Yeah, you know what I mean. I mean I'm being kind of extreme,
Get
but
a robot to
but
flush out your toilet.
I don't think it's impossible. All I'm saying is like 30
Yeah.
years from now, I would not be surprised, right? And then you're talking, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Let's put it this way: with the way that we've seen automation, AI technology, and robots and all this stuff grow over the past during our lifetimes, let's say, why does it not seem impossible? Well, why wouldn't it be possible for that technology to keep going to the point where it almost eliminates all jobs and just everything in life is pretty automated?
And then life becomes like Terminator.
Sure, Terminator or Ready Player One or something like
Ready
that.
Player won't be cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
you kind of got that with the VR a little bit, the VR
yeah,
sets.
yeah.
But
We
me
could-
like
we-
real life
the
though.
metaverse thing kind of died down, but that could come back at some point. I don't know. I mean, it sounds extreme, but I just
What if the AI robots created like their own metaverse?
yeah, they say we're sick of these humans. This is terrible.
And in their world, they have like kids, create communities.
Oh,
Have, like, their
I
own
did see.
jobs.
I saw there's a Chinese company that has a robot can have it could be pregnant.
What's the next topic we got on the list?
But seriously, wouldn't you say the technology is good enough to where,
Yes, if it could
especially
go
with
as,
how fast it's getting better, it's
Yeah.
accelerating so fast. Why wouldn't it be able to do everything that humans could do pretty
Very
much?
true. Very true. Especially like where it has been to like where has it made to it now? When you look at it, let's say another 30 years when we're like 60.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, 30 years, and even look at the last like 5 years.
I know it
for
went.
AI and stuff. The AI the last 5 years has been insane. So I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to wrap your head around the whole thing of what it's going to look like if everyone loses their job. Which we're going to talk about this in the upcoming things with some of these companies. But like if everyone loses their job and consumer spending is 70% of the economy or something.
Yeah.
Obviously that's a problem, right? So obviously there's going to be problems if a bunch of people lose their jobs, they don't have money, they can't buy things, something has to happen, right? There needs to be new jobs or prices have to come down or people are going to get a stimulus check. Something has to work. Next topic. Supreme Court case for Trump's tariffs. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so the Supreme Court. I guess it was like a block on the tariffs or whatsoever.
Hmm.
Supposedly, I thought they went through, but I guess
Meaning what? What's the result now?
they still going through it though. They just had the first
The
hearings or
tariffs are
whatever.
still on.
No, they're still reviewing the tariffs.
They're still reviewing.
Yeah, the case hasn't been like finalized.
Well, that's stupid.
I mean, it just started though.
They've been
It has been for the whole
months. They've been talking about the tariffs.
But
I
yeah,
mean, I could see it both ways. I could see where it's like it's helping the country, and especially if American citizens get a stimulus check back from it, then it's kind of a win-win. The country makes money and the citizens make money. But I could also see it from the point of like, it's not helping these companies. Like when I look at when I owned Elf Cosmetics and Target's been suffering from it. Like there's a lot of retailers that are struggling with it. So I could see it both ways where it hurts and helps the economy. I don't know.
but I will say, how much good is the stimulus check when you got to spend more for something?
When
though?
things are more expensive.
So it's like a give or take. Like, what's the difference?
Well, yeah, right. And I guess the net result would be that it just puts the power. I don't know. It puts more control in the country's hands. I guess you could look at it. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to really say. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like economy and how healthy is the consumer and stuff, then yeah, it doesn't. You might as well take the tariffs off, buy foreign goods, and have cheaper prices here. I don't know who knows what Trump's thinking. I don't know. You might that would be the same thing as what you're saying. If we keep the tariffs on, keep everything American made, but prices are higher, and then when you give us a stimulus check to afford the higher prices, I get the only difference is one way you're blocking out the rest of the world and you're relying on your own country, and the other way it's globalization. You're working with countries all over the world. So I don't know. There's pros and cons to both. There's a million different angles and things that happen each side. So whatever.
I will say Trump and what's the China's president?
Yeah, some
Xi or something?
Chinese name.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks.
I don't know how to say that name.
The president of China's name is Lee Simpson.
I don't know what it
Lee
is.
James
Just
or whatever.
Continue.
But no, they had like a plan or like a deal. You can probably Google it past like 2 weeks when he went to go to China for the meeting.
Yeah.
They came out with like some sort of plan for the two countries. So of how the tariffs gonna work. So who knows?
Yeah, I saw that, but I don't see what's the news though.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the result? Okay, let's talk about our stock picks. I have a couple, but I only picked two for today because these are my two favorite. Actually, I just have another one. Okay, I have three now. I actually have like 5 or 6 that I bought that I.
Oh yeah, take your
like.
time because I might have one. Let me see.
No, these are my 3. So I got 3: Pinterest, Salesforce, and Shift4 Payments. Those are my 3 favorite stock picks for the time we're in right now. Pinterest is like $26. Shift4 Payments is like, I don't know, 70, I want to say, and then Salesforce is about 240. I think they're all good buys right here. They're all financials. Net income is looking good. Valuations are all relatively cheap for all 3 companies. So I like all those stocks. Josh, do you have any picks out there?
Still Oklo. Oklo, I bought it when it was like $30 or something like that. Let me go back here. I bought it sometime last year when it was around like $28-$30 range.
Did you really?
Yeah. That's still my favorite, my
Wow.
main big thing. And I think it went up to a high back a couple of months. I think in October it's like 170.
175.
Yeah, so now it's less than 100. So I think the main thing with AI, the big problem we're going to be talking about it too is electricity. The electricity bill for everyone is keep going up and up.
Save it. It's coming later on in the episode.
Okay, I got you. But no, I think Oklo is a nuclear company. So
Okay.
I think the nuclear would be, I know when people hear that, they're like, oh, no, nuclear. But a safer option that I think we need to be using if we want to actually make AI useful.
Mm-hmm.
So using the nuclear energy to power AI stuff, things like that. So
Okay.
I say Oklo still.
Next
So,
up, Warren Buffett buys Google,
Oh, did he really?
which I'm actually kind of surprised because Google has gone up a lot. this year. Like the valuation's not cheap. I mean, if you look at it from,
Yeah, I bought it right before it went up. So that's
yeah,
another one.
I've had it since like 160 or 70.
Yeah, I bought it around the same price. I mean, even Google. I mean, it's kind of high now. I mean, but
But when
it's
you
Google though.
yeah, it's Google. When you look long term, they're gonna be fine. Their earnings is gonna keep going up and stuff. They're doing so
That's
much.
like one of the 10 companies like we're really pushing the economy now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's Google.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of understand, but it's just weird for some. That's not typically something he would do. I don't know. Okay, next thing. Our AI bubble. What AI bubble?
I mean, we kind of spoke about AI a little bit. So
Yeah, I guess the bubble comes down to like where you have OpenAI, NVIDIA, AMD, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Oracle. All these companies are pretty much doing deals with each other. And so they're all like saying, "Oh, I'll give you money," and this person gives this person money, this person gives this money. It keeps just going around in a circle. So and then not only that, not only do they sell to each other, but then they're also investing in each other. So it's just like it's turning into one company almost.
true. Mm-hmm.
It just kind of looks like a scam. I don't know. It's weird.
A scam? I
yeah,
wouldn't say a scam.
okay.
But
Well, it looks fishy. It looks suspicious because I don't know.
I think AI is just a hot thing.
No, it is
So-
a scam. It is a scam
How's it a scam?
because this would be this would be a scam. If I said if there's your company called Josh and my company is called Nico,
Okay.
and I said I'm investing $1,000 into your company, and I'm gonna own half of your company for $1,000. Then I said, let's do business.
Oh, you
You see what I mean? Like I'm
Okay.
gonna get you a deal, or I'm gonna pay you for a product. Let's say I give you like $100,000 for a product, and I'm like, oh well, guess what? I actually own half your company, so that money that I just paid you for the product, I own half of that. Give me the profit. You see what I mean? That's kind of like a scam.
well, as long as they don't get in trouble, it's not a scam.
No, that is not the definition of a scam.
Yes, it is though.
No, it's not. So, who's the guy in who got caught with the pyramid scheme in Wall Street in 2008?
I feel like every single one of them.
No. Who's the big one? He was a billionaire.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I know you're talking about. I know you're talking
I
about.
always forget his name.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Not Michael Burry.
No, not the guy from the movie. Not him.
I
That's
don't know.
another one.
I
though,
forgot.
but-
Yeah, that's
There you
it.
go.
Thanks.
Bernie Madoff.
Bernie Madoff. Okay, Bernie Madoff. Good.
It is
Yeah.
kind of a little bit. Yeah. Story's kind of similar.
Yeah. So no, but my point with that was, you said, oh, before you get caught, it's not a scam. So that means the whole time he was doing that, it wasn't a scam.
I mean, he got caught and he
Only a
got
scam if you
sentenced,
get
didn't he?
caught.
Though. It's I believe in the judicial system of the United States government. You're not guilty till you found under the court of your peers.
Okay, whatever. It's a scam is a scam, whether you get caught or not. So the main piece of this episode is we're going to be focusing on data centers because that's
Yeah, there you
pretty
go.
relevant to a lot of different things going on right now in the world and in the economy and in the stock market and in technology and business. So let's start with this. Data centers, Google says, companies like Google are saying that data centers are not being built fast enough, and that is their biggest problem. He said they're actually having too many chips that they don't know what to do with right now because the data centers are not being built quick enough.
They need to sell them for like 50% off.
What? The chips or
The chips.
Well, no, they're saving the chips for when
Yeah.
these data centers are built. I mean, you see it all around Indiana. I see it all around Indiana, which we're going to get to that in a second here. But all around Indiana, you see people protesting for the data centers, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
because you gotta think of the cons of a data center.
yeah. Well, first I heard it was because they make noises and because it's something like different things like that. But actually, the most valid, sensible argument that I've heard that makes sense is that it's raising prices
Electricity,
for electricity.
and it's bad for the environment.
And it's bad for the environment.
And for some reason, they never bring in jobs.
Well,
You never noticed that?
I don't agree with that because my uncle, he works for a HVAC company, and like a couple people in our family,
That's true. We do have the building,
they're all because guess what? Huge part of data
but now
centers.
that goes back into the what Nvidia CEO said. Because they
Yeah,
need those
exactly.
tradespeople for to build those centers.
Yeah.
So.
Because data center, since there's so much power and electricity and it's so hot in there, air conditioning is a huge part of it. So there's a lot of demand for HVAC in those things. So if you're an HVAC company, then business should be good. The other thing I read today is that data centers are not new. The United States has 4,100 data centers, which is 8 times higher than any other country. Number 2 was the UK, and I believe China was up there too, but the UK only had like 500. We have over 4,000 data centers right now. The top 3 states in this country for data centers are Texas, California, and Virginia. And I'm sure Indiana has to be up there too, because I see signs all over the state, and Indiana is a pretty pro-business type of state, so I'm sure they're up there. But the data centers have been around mainly for the cloud computing the last decade or so, but now that we have all this demand for AI, these companies are really pushing for that. Next interesting fact for data centers is that last year, 4% of the entire country's electricity consumption came from data centers. So is that a lot? It's probably a lot in nominal terms, but it's not a lot relative to the rest of it. It's only 4%. However, in the next couple years, just within the next 3 years or so, that consumption is expected to double, and it is mainly being powered by conventional power source energy sources like gas. Okay, 40% came from gas, with nuclear energy only accounting for about 20%. Okay, so that's interesting.
That needs to be flipped.
Right. So the renewable sources of energy, that could bring down the cost. And I know, for us, like
renewable is not going to work. We have to push for nuclear energy. We have to.
Isn't nuclear renewable?
Is it? I don't know. I think you're talking about like the hydrogen,
like solar and wind and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I think nuclear falls under renewable.
It doesn't matter. We need the nuclear energy. Don't need gas that much. Don't need the hydro, whatever. Just give us nuclear energy.
Yeah, it's like it's way more efficient and profitable. So, but there's some interesting stuff here. So, yes, especially because so many people are complaining about, in our area, it's NIPSCO, but so many people are complaining about electric prices and the bills going up. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of, that's kind of a weird dynamic to say, okay, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are pushing super hard, investing all this money Google just invested $40 billion to build a facility in Texas. All these companies are pushing really hard to build that. And then the power companies like NIPSCO are saying, okay, well, let's make this happen. It's going to cost a bunch of money and cost a bunch of power. But guess what? We're just going to raise all the bills for the people around here, and then that'll pay for it. So it's kind of a And
that's what makes people mad.
It makes people mad.
And picket signs out.
They keep protesting. So I get that. And yeah, that's where the nuclear energy and stuff like that could drive that price down. Now, what is very interesting is, I bet you haven't thought of this one. Google is doing something called the Suncatcher project, where they plan to put satellites into space to create AI infrastructure. Okay. Now,
how much would that charge the people?
How much? Well, that won't. That won't, because that's Google's own project, right? It's not NIPSCO's.
So they won't be upping the price for the Google storage.
Oh, that could be.
Like
that's true. No, that could be. These solar panels that Google is putting into space with Project Suncatcher are 8 times more productive in space than when they do it on Earth. Okay, it reduces the need for batteries and it costs them much less. So that's gonna be very interesting to see how Google goes through with this.
So what do you think would be the best best energy source that we need to do?
I'm not an energy specialist, but from what I've heard for the past couple years, nuclear sounds like something we should try.
I remember with the episode we had with Chuck. I was trying to convince you about nuclear energy. You were kind of on the fence about it. I'm happy I brought you over.
For somebody, I mean, if you're somebody who's knowledgeable on this, you could probably dive into the details and really know what the truth is. But for me, I only know information based off of what's the reputation of nuclear energy.
Yeah,
well, okay.
I just like you, I think everyone else. I think because we see Oppenheimer, we see what happened.
There's
with
lots
World
of cases.
War II.
Yeah, there's lots of cases.
We
where
always
it
see
looks
the bad thing of nuclear.
Chernobyl and stuff. Yeah. So there's lots of cases like where it looks bad. But over the last couple decades, I think France is one of the highest users of nuclear energy. You see, it's being put into more use cases, and I think maybe there's not any problems with it. Maybe now we're more, I don't know, we're more prepared to deal with it or something. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Yeah, but I still think those nuclear still has waste. So I think we also got to determine
Yeah.
how we're gonna figure that out. But I think honestly, we really want to push for AI. These data centers, nuclear has to be the main and number one.
Otherwise,
use
we
for
might create a bunch of zombies. Or like those, did you see those squirrels and the deer that grew those tumors?
yeah, like some Fallout. Yeah,
Yeah. You see that? The squirrel had horns or something. Okay, but that's not all. The last company here on my list was a company called CoreWeave. I've seen this company trending for the last couple of weeks. They are a provider of data centers, and they are backed by NVIDIA. However, I just did analysis on this stock. They keep losing more and more money. So the
that
good
makes
news,
sense though.
yeah, the revenue or the good news is that the revenue keeps going up. The net income keeps getting worse, so that's the problem. Now, sure, they're backed by NVIDIA. That's a good thing. They're in one of the best businesses you could probably be in right now, which is providing data centers. Recently, the stock dropped really big because it looks like for Q4 they were supposed to have a delivery of data centers or something. The construction was supposed to happen, and now it's being pushed a couple months into next year. So that was the bad news. The stock fell. But I mean, that's just a postponement of the business. I don't see why, if they make the money in a couple months, what's the difference? So I don't know. That's where we're at for that. I'm not really interested in investing in CoreWeave yet, just because I don't really like money losing companies. But it's definitely one to keep.
I think it's gonna be a nice long term play.
It could be. Maybe it will be because. I mean, if the revenue is going up, and I mean, obviously the demand for data centers is going to be huge for years and years to come. As long as CoreWeave keeps those deals with these stocks, then we should be good. What do you want to talk about the 50-year mortgage for?
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. That was big news. People were kind of up in arms about. So I think what Trump tweeted or whatever about a 50-year mortgage plan.
Which, okay, so basically it makes it more affordable on a monthly basis, but in the long term, you're paying way more in interest.
Yeah. So I think the standard was like 15 to 30.
Yeah.
And then 50. So how are you feeling about the 50-year mortgage? I think it's kind of crazy though.
No, I mean I'm extremely anti-interest. I don't do anything. I don't pay interest on anything. I don't like borrowing money. I don't like debt. I don't like anything like that. So
yeah, this is a guy that does all cash. You don't even
yes.
got a credit card, do you?
No. So obviously, in a case like this, if we're talking about on a monthly basis, it's more affordable, but on a long-term basis, you're getting ripped off. And in the case of a house, we're talking about over $100,000. We're talking about 6 figures worth of interest. I'm not interested at all. I mean,
and people don't also like bring up that the price that you buy with the interest, it doesn't stay the same.
no.
So the interest can go up. It will go up.
Yeah.
So
I don't ever feel comfortable in those situations. I think it although I don't like it, I don't agree with it. I'm not going to say it's a completely bad idea because for most Americans and the economy we're in today, so much of it is built off of people borrowing money and buying things on credit that it probably would work well. And if it makes people able to buy a house easier and they can afford stuff on a monthly basis, well then okay, it sounds like a good plan, right? But
I think a 30-year would be smarter, and if you need to, just refinance.
I think buying it in cash the day of would be the smart.
That would be we all wish we had like $400,000 drop.
But you can actually even though I say that half joking because there's plenty of arguments out there that will say you don't want to do that because if you spend all your money to buy a house in one day, that you could look at it like yes, you have no debt. But the alternative would be, let's say I don't put all $400K on the house. I only put $10K or whatever, 50. Let's say it's $50K on the house.
Or you can invest the rest.
You can invest the rest of the money if you had all $400K, you could use the other $350 to invest, and then you'd make more from the stock market than you would pay in interest.
So you know what that makes? I like how you bring that up, because like 20, 30 years ago, the main big thing of wealth was how to build wealth was owning a home. I think now
Yeah.
because the prices of houses went so much, we got to have that mindset. Hey, put your money in the stock market, not at home.
Yeah, I just listened to a podcast today though that said top two ways that people build wealth are are owning a house and stock market.
Mm.
It said 50% of people are invested in stocks, which is incredibly low. That's terrible. 50%, that's way too low.
But honestly, compared to 10 years ago, I don't know what the numbers is. It's
It was
probably
way lower.
yeah.
It was lower because they said,
So I think honestly, with the housing being so high, kind of like a theory of mine, is why the investing stock market went up so much. Because like I said, people can't afford a house, things like that. But hey, maybe I could throw a couple
yeah,
hundred
but
thousand
when
on
you look
Google.
at that, like if real estate was going up, that's also that would also mean that you make more money if you invested in real estate.
But with real estate going up, how are you gonna be able to buy
How
it?
are you going to buy it in the first place? So for
Hmm.
the new generation, it's harder. Yeah, that's a good point. Now you know what else I just realized I haven't connected
The
these.
people who are really says people who parents bought a house,
Yeah.
paid it off, and kept it up
Okay,
to
but hold
date.
on. You just connected some puzzle pieces in my head for the
Okay,
first time. Okay,
you welcome.
thank you very much. You connected two pieces of the puzzle I never put together before. The way you described the real estate thing with things getting more expensive, people not being able to afford an initial real estate investment. If you when you look at the long-term graph of the P ratio for stocks, just for index fund over the last, like I'm talking at least 50, 60 years,
Oh yeah, it goes up.
back in the day, for a while, if when we talk 80s, 90s, early 2000s, the P ratio for the market generally was much lower. It was like around a 14 and a 16 and stuff. It was lower.
Oh yeah, huh?
Post like around Obama era, post from that era on, these last 20 years or whatever,
Shut up.
that PE ratio has not. We have not gotten back to the mean. That PE ratio now is like if you're trading around a 20, like that's average. I believe a 20. I forgot the exact number, but it's higher. We're not in that 15 bracket anymore. Now the market on average trades in the 20s. So that could be a reflection of the way real estate performed. If real estate was more affordable decades ago, and now there's a new what's the word? There's a new standard for what you're going to pay for a house relative to your income. I think that trend also happened in the stock market,
Yeah.
and that's why we see those ratios up too. So that could explain that because a lot of times when you look at like a valuation for something, you say this is trading way higher than what it was in 1985. Well, it might make sense to say, okay, it's going to revert to the mean, but it doesn't always revert to the mean, though. In this case, every couple decades, or the way inflation works, that new standard now for what you're going to pay for something is now higher. So I don't know. It is very weird. I was going to also bring up the fact that these last 5 to 10 years, the last 10 years, you've seen the cost of investing go down, and it's become much more easier with apps like Robinhood and Webull and
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't need to find a financial guy most of the time.
You don't need to find a
do all of
broker.
that.
A decade ago, you had to pay. It might be 2 decades. Yeah, I think it's like we're talking.
Yeah, you
2
did have to
decades
pay
now.
for it.
You
Yeah,
had to pay $20,
yeah.
and I believe even before that, like in the 70s and stuff, it was even more than that. So
But honestly, that's still cheaper than buying a house, though.
yeah, yes and no,
No, no.
and I would and I've since we've met, I've been arguing that you're going to outperform in the stock market compared to real estate. I mean, there's different ways to look at it. You could say, a certain real estate market is going to outperform. You could say normally the pro with real estate is that you get to leverage more money, right? You take a loan out, you get to borrow money, and your returns might only be 3% or 4%, but you're going to use a big sum of money. You might use $300,000 or something. Versus with stocks, you could borrow $300,000, but it's a little bit tougher. And the stock market is also more volatile. That's the other con that people bring up, is that the market is more volatile. But I don't know. I don't really buy that 100% because I've been in the market for a while now, and it's like, yes, there's volatility, but in general, it lasts like a year at most, and then the next year.
I mean, house still a little bit more stable, unless something like
Oh no,
drastic
absolutely,
happens.
absolutely. The real estate market is more stable, but then I don't know. Look at 2008, right? There was
True,
there was house prices that dropped 50%. I think in like Arizona and Vegas and stuff, there were home prices that dropped 50%. So
But honestly, besides 2008, like the only big thing with housing is probably like the community around it might change. But that stuff takes more than like maybe like 10 years or so.
yeah, and yeah. Right. It takes long. Yeah, it takes longer than 10 years. That could take decades. So I don't know. Where did this conversation stem from?
50-year mortgage plan.
That's right. Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, don't do a 50-year mortgage. I'd rather you do 30
Well,
years.
some people
refinance.
some people really, they rely on which, I'm not going to say this like it's 100% their fault or they're lazy, but some people rely on using credit and borrowing money to get through
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
50 years is a long time.
It's a long time. You're probably gonna
That's
you're gonna die before you pay it.
Yeah, that's past the retirement age if you think about it.
Yeah,
Because like I think the average age now of buying a house is like 39 to 40.
it's 40. Yeah.
Yeah,
So when you put it in terms of that, you'll probably be dead.
And the retirement age is like 65.
Yeah. The last 10 years, the last 5-10 years of our life, there's been some crazy, like, things are changing a lot. The age you buy a house, the age you get married and have kids, the cost of stocks and real estate, like every decade.
That retirement age is gonna go up now too.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the number that they haven't. That's not changing yet. Is that people are arguing? Which this is like a political debate, which I could see either side. But that's the other thing. Should the Social Security age be raised past 65?
It probably will be. I'm thinking like 72.
And on one hand, okay, these are the
at
two,
least 68 or something.
These are the two different hands on side of the argument, and honestly, they're both kind of strong. Okay, so we have probably the more Republican side, which it makes total sense. When this law was made 100 years ago, the average person, the life expectancy rate was way lower. People died way younger. So to say 65 was when you get your benefits, it made a little bit more sense because not everybody's living to that age, right? So it would make sense. Okay, hey, let's raise this now, right? Let's raise it. Also, not only that, with the age group, you're also going to save the country much more money, right? Because the system is kind of broken now because people are taking money out way longer. Like my grandma, she's 95. Okay, so
she's been getting it for 30 years.
Keep that in mind. So there's stuff like that. People are taking money out. More people are taking money out, and for longer periods of time. And the money going in is not keeping up. Okay, so you have a broken system. It's outdated, and it is there's side effects, right? Now on the other hand, people are going to say that this is probably the more Democrat view is. Well, guess what? The senior citizens are still struggling income-wise, right? They're still struggling financially, so it doesn't make total sense. And why are we forcing these older people to keep working into their 70s? Like, do we really want that? Does that seem fair or like a good idea?
I still see old people working like part-time jobs.
There is, yeah. Even when they're 70, yeah. So. Like I said, both of them kind of make sense.
Imagine having to work when you're 80 years old.
I know.
You should be sitting down somewhere.
Yeah, at the park.
Somewhere.
Feeding the birds.
Playing with grandkids, but you got to work a full shift. Jesus.
I know. So, and I think they're both right. They're both right. So, I don't know. It's just.
Federal minimum wage got to go up, too. It's still $7.25, isn't it? That's crazy.
I don't know. Things are just. I mean, things are out of whack. I mean, you have to. I don't know. I think it just when you factor in like, okay, how long do people live? What's the healthcare system like? What is the job market and consumer spending like? What does the government do? What do they pay for? How are they profitable? Do they have a lot of savings and stuff? Like, there's so many different things that all work with each other, and it's hard. I mean, I don't know.
We need like a full reset.
You kind of need a full reset because obviously these systems.
Can the government declare bankruptcy so we know that?
I don't know how that would work.
It should be able to work somehow. We're just not gonna pay you back.
I mean, literally, the only way to get rid of like debt and inflation is it's called pretend that money doesn't exist and pretend that like people didn't get paid for working. Like that's the only like real cure to it is like if you're gonna go work and produce something and be productive and help something, you're not getting paid for it because then your work that you put into it is actually helping the system and stuff, but nobody paid for it. You know what I mean? So
That'll never work because we like to buy things.
it would pretty much never work. But it's a good thought experiment because it's just like if every human being, or let's say the majority of human beings said we're going to go work and produce stuff and build the society and the economy, but we don't want to get paid. Nobody would be in debt then. There
Back how it was like
1,000 years ago. Yeah,
longer than that.
10,000. Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird. It's such a weird thing, but no, I mean I think the systems that the United States have been on the last 50 to 100 years, I just think a lot of them are kind of expiring. I would say the two. I feel like it. I feel like the obviously government is important in the policies they make and the way they do trade and the way they fund wars and the way they tax people and the way they all this stuff. If they pay for healthcare or not, education, whatever. As important as that is, I feel like the profits that the corporations bring in, so big business, paired with technology and automation. I think like since the Industrial Revolution, from that to all these different steps we've made with whatever to the point of the internet to now artificial intelligence, those make a huge difference in like just automating, taking away jobs, making companies more profitable. And then these companies are worth multi-trillions of dollars. The Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Tesla, all that stuff. The Meta, they're making $100 billion a year, and I mean that's more than some countries around the world. So I think that paired with the fact, it's the way that is interacting with they're making more and more money. There's also things like BlackRock, where these companies are buying up real estate
BlackRock is
stocks.
legit a real country,
right? So let's say you put BlackRock, these companies that are operating where they're making $100 billion a year, they're using the more internet and technology, not internet, the more technology and automation they have, they're becoming more profitable. They need less people. So people and the health of the consumer gets pushed down. Then you have the government here. That's like the three pieces of like the world, pretty much. Is like what does the government pay for? How do they help people? And how do they interact with these mega corporations? So people are obviously having a harder time than they were now than 20, 30, 40 years ago. The government is in $35, $40 trillion of debt, but these companies are the ones that are truly winning here, right? They're the ones that are really winning. So I don't know. That's kind of the trifecta. That's the dynamic how I look at it. So I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to pinpoint, but I don't know.
That'd be very interesting. But I think this concludes this episode. Unless you got anything else to say?
No, that's it.
Yeah, people invest in Oklo. I'm telling you, nuclear energy is the way.
Yeah, I'd rather have Pinterest and Shift 4 payments.
Hey, but I got like around $28, $30.
Yeah, so it's not at that now.
So it was a good investment.
So in other words, you missed it, guys. Sorry.
I mean, it'll still probably go back up to like 120 though.
Okay.
But besides that, yeah. Thank you all for tuning in for episode 65 of Stock Talk with Josh and
Nico Kritikos.
Y'all have a good one now, and
we'll see you at the next episode. Probably in like 9 to 12 months.
Back in 2026 sometime, May 2026. But once again, everyone, thank you once again for tuning in.
We'll be back with our biannually updates.
Thank you. And y'all have a blessed one, and to greener days ahead. Thank you.